The dumbest reasons people got in trouble at work. This guy was chilling at home when he got a call from a manager of a company. Hello? Oh, hello, Greg. He answers. Well, Greg, you didn't show up for work today, and honestly, I have had enough of your bullcrap. You are a disgrace to the Comcast company. You're ignorant, you're selfish, you're incredibly selfish, you waste all of our time. Your mother would be so disappointed in you, Greg. You can be quiet. What do you have to say for yourself? The call went on for a while, but the thing was, my name isn't Greg, and I definitely don't work at Comcast. I actually just started at Dairy Queen last week, so... But good luck to Greg, huh? Sounds like he's in big trouble. Okay, bye. God darn it. Can somebody get me Greg's phone number? I don't think I have it, but why don't you just ask him what his number is? He's sitting at his desk. Wait, he's here today? Yeah, it's his birthday today. He brought everyone donuts. I had like 3. Shit. A news team was interviewing this man live on the air when somebody that he owed money to showed up.
First and foremost, we are used to stay outside, like this one. It end up.
I guarantee he paid him his money after that. Black markets, kids ran in their schools. A follower submission. This one's kind of different. Listen up. He told me that in 9th grade, him and 2 of his friends started to throw parties. They would find someone's house to do it at first, and then they would begin planning. At the start of this, they would charge $10 for a wristband, and if you showed up to the party with a wristband, you would get in. Now, the bracelets that they gave out had a symbol written on it that could only be seen under a black light, and at every party, it was a different symbol. They did this so people couldn't go out and buy their own wristbands. Genius. The party started going crazy. They then upped their prices to $20 per wristband, and then $40, and then they hired their friend to DJ the parties. They were making bank. And if the parties ever got too crazy, they would call the cops on their own party. And because it wasn't their own house, they would just leave. That's some shady stuff, but he told me that they made a ton of money. An embarrassing middle school moment. When this kid was in 6th grade, he had this huge crush on one of his classmates, but she seemed to never notice him. Until one day, they were paired up to do a project together. She was sitting across from him, and they were actually having a great conversation. That's so crazy. That's my favorite show as well. I'm actually kind of excited to be working with you on this. Me too. Until all of a sudden, he had to sneeze. However, as he sneezed, a giant booger shot out of his nose and got stuck on his crush's forehead. Wipe it off right now. Wipe it off. And instead of wiping the booger off, he decided to play it cool and say, no, wipe it off yourself. And he made her clean his booger off of her face. After that, she asked the teacher for a new partner, and she never talked to him ever again. Black markets, kids ran in their schools. A follower submission. When this girl was in middle school, she once brought a few glow sticks to a school dance. The kids that saw them kept asking her if she had any more. So she had an idea. She went to the store and bought 12 packs of 24 glow sticks for $1 each. And then at the next dance, she stood by the entrance and sold them to the kids coming in. That night, she sold out and made $288. Well, the teachers didn't really like what she was doing, so they made her an offer. They said she could set up a table and sell the glow sticks right next to the snack table. Otherwise, she can't sell them anymore. All she would have to do was give the school a tiny bit of the profits. She said yes, and after that, she still made about $300 a dance. Exactly how popular is Minecraft? Minecraft is one of the best-selling games of all time, and last year they announced a huge milestone of over 300 million sales. Minecraft was released almost 13 years ago. Well, let's put this all into perspective. 300 million sales equals 47 copies of Minecraft sold a minute every minute since it was released in 2011. 47 copies a minute since 2011. That's actually insane. The bathroom is right there. Will you come in with me, Dad? Elliot, you're 13 years old. You can go to the bathroom by yourself, okay? Why are you always here? This high school freshman English teacher was kinda crazy. Whenever students wouldn't be quiet in class, he would straight up cuss them out in front of everybody. And if that didn't work, he had a backup plan. So I told her that no, we cannot be friends, I think you're a baddie. And she told me that she thinks I'm ugly. So I think that's not fair, I'm very handsome. Hey Kevin, this is the second time I'm asking you to be quiet today. You know what happens now. Oh no. If students didn't listen after being cussed out, he would take the chalkboard eraser and chuck it at them as hard as he could. He didn't do this to inflict pain. He did this because he knew that chalkboard erasers would leave a mark on their clothing. So when the misbehaving students left after class was over, everyone would know who pissed off the English teacher.
Hey, yo, look at Kevin.
He messed you up, Kevin.
You're still ugly, Kevin.
One day, this preschool teacher saw a 4-year-old playing with something shiny. Johnny, what is that? It's nothing. Let me see that. It was a diamond ring. Where did you get this? It was on Mommy's dresser. And why did you take it? Because I want to give it to Stacy. I'm in love with her. You can't be giving things like that away. I'm gonna keep it. And I'm gonna give it to your mom when she picks you up, okay? 2 days later, that teacher sees Stacy playing with something weird. Stacy, what are you playing with? Let me see it. Where did you get these? Johnny gave it to me. It was the keys to a Ford truck and a bottle of cologne. Apparently, this kid thought since he couldn't give her the diamond ring, he would just take his dad's car keys and cologne and give it to her instead. One day, this guy was just chilling at his house when his grandpa comes up and asks, "Hey there, buddy, I just wanted to ask if you wanted to play some chess with me. I think it'd be fun." Ugh, Grandpa, chess is so boring. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna play on my phone, okay? Okay. Maybe next time. Well, 2 weeks later, his grandpa was on a roof, cleaning out the gutters, when he accidentally fell off the roof. His grandpa passed away that day, and to this day, this kid still wishes he would have played chess with his grandpa. This teacher is the worst. When he was 9 years old, he had a teacher that hated him. He was kind of a chubby kid, and one time he didn't do his homework and she flipped out. This is your workbook. You're supposed to do homework in your workbook. I don't see your homework. She was flipping through it so hard she ripped a bunch of pages. But she wasn't done. She then, in front of the entire class, started screaming at him even more. You know what, Kyle? You're probably too busy stuffing your face with sandwiches and Twinkies that you didn't have time to do your homework. You're so fat. She then made him go to the back corner of the classroom and stand there with his hands straight up in the air until class was over. Hands up, Kyle. He went home and told his parents what happened. The next day, they came into school with him. They went to her room and asked why she did that. To which she replied, "I'm sorry, I don't recall that happening. I think your kid might be making it up. I'm sorry." When this kid was in 4th grade, his glasses broke. Oh man. But it didn't really matter because in most of his classes he sat in the front row, so he could still see. Well, after a few days of going to class without his glasses, one of his teachers said, "Kyle, I see you still don't have your glasses. Are they still broken?" "Yeah, but it's fine. I can still see the board." The thing with this teacher though was that she would always write assignments on the board for students to work on during class. She would never explain the assignments. Students would just read the board and then do their work. But anyway, she said, "Kyle, it's been 4 days now. Your parents should have gotten you new glasses at this point. You're sitting in the back of the class." Okay. Alright, so this is what needs to be done before the end of class, okay? Get to work. Oh, I can't see it. What the heck? Sit down, Kyle. Hey, Stacy, can you tell me what the board says? Yeah, it says, Stacy, don't you dare tell him what it says. I'm teaching him a frickin' lesson. I hate my life. Dumbest rules parents made their kids follow. When this person was growing up, his parents wouldn't allow him to use public restrooms at all. Even on trips to Disney World. If he had to go to the bathroom, they had to go all the way back to the hotel, which is bogus. When he was in elementary and middle school, at the start of every year, his parents would call the teachers and told them to let them know if their son ever used the public bathroom. If he was caught using the public bathroom at school, his parents would punish him when he got home. Growing up, there was no place he could safely use the bathroom other than his home without getting in trouble. When he got to high school, the parents tried the same thing. They called the teachers and said, "Let us know if he ever uses the public restroom." The teachers in high school thought that was weird, and they never followed through. So he got away with using the bathrooms in high school. But it wasn't until college, where this kid was finally allowed to use any public bathroom he wanted without fear of being punished by his crazy parents.
When this girl was in elementary school, she got in trouble for using a big word. Something upset her in class, and she used the word vexed, which means annoyed, frustrated, worried. Well, the teacher overheard and yelled at her. The teacher said that she should have just used the word angry. Well, her teacher then sent a note to her mom, explaining the situation. Her mom marked the teacher's note for errors in red pen and sent it back to her with a note that read, "When you can use proper English, you can correct hers." Legendary mom.
The worst Christmas gifts ever. When this girl was 15 years old, she really wanted a dog. And her parents knew it because she was always asking them if they could get one. Well, one Christmas morning, after most of the presents were unwrapped, her parents went downstairs to grab one last gift for her. Oh my gosh, I wonder what this is. Her parents then came upstairs carrying a giant box with holes in it, almost as if there was a living creature inside. Okay, are you ready? Oh my god, I think I know what this is. Convinced there was a live puppy inside this Swiss cheese looking box, she unwrapped it, super excited to meet her new pet. But as she opened the box, she saw a stuffed animal dog that when you squeezed its paw, it barked. What is this? You said you wanted a dog. Why would you put holes in the box? I hate you.
When this kid was in 6th grade, he asked his teachers if he could get paid to clean up gum from under desks and chairs. They said sure. So he was getting paid $5 every time he cleaned up gum. Well, the principal found out about this and asked him if he could clean up the gum from under the tables in the lunchroom. He said sure. It was a nice little side hustle, but then he had a brilliant idea. He was gonna start selling gum. So he started buying these packs. This one's only $5 from Target. It's 8 packs with 15 pieces of gum in each pack. That's 120 pieces of gum, and he sold each piece of gum for 50 cents. He was making $60 after selling one whole thing of gum. But here's the kicker. Every time he sold somebody a piece of gum, he asked them when they were done with the gum if they could put it underneath desks or the lunchroom tables. So he would have to clean up the gum more often and make even more money. His teacher said he has a thing he does whenever he loses control of his class. He grabs a stapler and says, "Anyone want to put a staple in my hand? The physical pain would be nothing compared to how I feel right now, when all I want to do is help you guys reach your full potential, but you don't care." Somebody then usually doubts his seriousness and says, "Yeah, I'll put a staple in your hand." That's when he walks up to their desk, puts the stapler down, and puts his hand down and says, "Do it." The students usually give a nervous giggle and they pretend to do it, but they never do. Well, one day he did this little stunt again, and a student was like, "Yes, mister, I'll put a staple in your hand." He brings a stapler over, puts his hand down, and the student actually staples his hand. He didn't freak out or anything. He calmly looked at his hand, asked, "Did that really happen?" Pulled the staple out while blood trickled down, and he said, "Are we done? Can I go back to teaching now?" All the students were completely shocked. The kid that did it felt so bad that he stapled his own hand at the end of class.
People who were legends in their high school. There was this one teacher at this one high school that never let anybody use the bathroom, no matter how many times they asked. There was this one girl in class who hated this teacher, and the teacher hated her. Every day, she would always ask if she could use the bathroom, and the teacher said no. Well, on the last day of school, this girl was in this teacher's class. She asked the teacher twice if she could use the bathroom, and the teacher said no. This is what happened when she asked for the 3rd time. "Miss, can I please use the bathroom? I really have to go." "I swear to God, if you ask me one more time, no, you may not." "Okay, fine, but just remember, you did this." The girl then stood up, stared at the teacher, and peed her pants. She got in big trouble, but she went home and told her parents about this, and her father was a urologist. Her father called the school, and this teacher got into huge trouble. The dumbest rules parents had their kids follow. When this girl was in high school, her parents had this very strict rule. "All right, love you guys, I'm going to my friend's house." "Okay, don't forget the rules." "I won't." The rule was this: she had a curfew every night, and for every minute she was late after curfew, she would be grounded for a week. So if she was 2 minutes late coming home, she'd be grounded for 2 weeks. Well, one day she was stuck behind a train. Come on, come on, come on. It was one of those long trains. You know what I'm talking about. Well, it was passing for 10 minutes, causing her to be 10 minutes late, Marissa. Do you know what that means? You were 10 minutes. Honey, please, I got this. No. 10 minutes late is what? 10 weeks. Excuse me? 10 weeks. 10 weeks, very good. You're grounded for 10 weeks, now get to your room. Oh, God, I hate them so much. Stupid rule. What the heck? What's a pineapple doing in here? When this kid was in middle school, he bought a shoe customization kit, and he was skilled enough to design stuff like this on people's shoes. Well, he decided to start a business. He charged kids $10 for him to customize their shoes. But more and more people started getting interested in this, and business started booming. So he raised his price to $50 per customization. Things were going great. He was running this business for 3 months, until one day the vice principal walked in on him in the bathroom designing some shoes. The vice principal saw him and told him that he had to ask the principal if he could continue. Well, the principal said, yeah, for sure, keep going. And he did. He continued this business for 7 months. But then one day, a school board official was visiting the school, and the school board official caught him in the bathroom as well. He was then shut down completely. In total, he made about $11,000. That's insane. This dude accidentally ruined Christmas. The guy that shared this story has a wife and 2 young children. It was a couple days before Christmas, and he was kind of groggy. He was partying with his neighbor the night before. Well, it was garbage day, and he was taking out the trash. He went back inside through the garage, and he noticed that there were 2 more big black garbage bags. So he took those out and threw them in the trash as well. The garbage truck came, and that was that. Well, fast forward to Christmas Eve. His wife had asked him, "Hey Doug, have you seen the kids' Christmas gifts?" No, where did you put them last? "I had all of their gifts in a big garbage bag in the garage, but they're not there." That's right. He had accidentally thrown away every single Christmas gift that was meant for his kids. And like I said, it was now Christmas Eve. "You better go out and figure this out." Okay. Everything was closed, except for 7-Eleven. So what did he do? He bought a bunch of stuff from 7-Eleven. He brought that home, and that's what his kids got for Christmas the next morning. To this day, those kids referred to that one Christmas as the year Santa forgot their gifts, and instead brought them candy and lottery tickets. This lady thinks she did nothing wrong. Her husband has been working very hard at his job, and he finally got a huge promotion, and she's so proud of him. Her husband's parents are super proud too, and they wanted to take everyone out to dinner to celebrate. Well, there's this prime rib place that her husband absolutely loves, so that's what he chose. But the thing is, this lady says she's not a big fan of steak. She'll eat it, but very rarely. She said she prefers chicken or fish. Well, it was the night of the dinner, and she looked up the menu before leaving. The place only had 1 fish entree and 2 chicken entrees, and none of them sounded good to her. So she asked him,
"Hey, I was thinking maybe you can pick a different place so that, all of us can eat."
"We never go to this place. It's my favorite. Can't you just ask the server to prepare the food in a way you like?"
"I don't want to annoy the servers and the kitchen staff."
"Well, how about you order a dessert while we all eat our entrees, and then after dinner, I'll take you to some place that you like."
"No, I'm just gonna stay home. You go."
"Can you please just deal with it and go? I want to celebrate with everyone that I love."
"I'm not going, I'm sorry. But you and the kids should leave now. I don't want you to be late."
So her husband and the kids left, but they came back only 30 minutes later with bags of packaged food. She asked them why they were back so soon. He said he felt weird about her not going to the restaurant, so he ordered the food to go and just talked to his parents in the parking lot for a little bit. He was very sad, and he went to bed a little angry. She thinks she did nothing wrong. I think she was being incredibly selfish. How about you? Black markets kids ran in their schools, a subscriber submission. At this person's middle school, the lunchroom never served any sides with any of their meals. So if they were serving hot dogs, it was just a hot dog. Burgers, it was just the burgers. Pizza, just the pizza. Well, the kids at the school thought this was bogus. Every good lunch needs a side. So this guy had a brilliant idea. Every morning before school, he would heat up a bunch of French fries in his air fryer. And I'm talking a lot of French fries. He would then put them in an insulated pack so they stayed warm. And at lunch, he would sell them to other students. It was an immediate hit. Business was, you know what I'm gonna say, booming. On average, he was making $100 a day. This went on for weeks. You can imagine how much money he was making. One day, the school found out what he was doing, but they didn't shut it down. They were impressed, so they gave him his own stand to run during lunch, where he would sell the fries that he made. All in all, he had made over $10,000. Here's a true story about a high school football player. The person that shared this said that the quarterback of their football team was very popular. What's up?
What up, bro?
Hey, Billy, what's cracking, buddy?
Butt cracks.
Stacy, looking nice.
Oh my god, stop.
Oh, Carla. Yeah.
Hey, you're
The
stupid.
girls loved him, the boys loved him, everyone loved him. He was the most popular kid at the school. He never did his homework and he failed all his tests, but his teachers passed him anyway because he is the reason the football team has won so many games. He continued this reign of high school royalty. He applied to colleges and he got full ride football scholarship. I also want to mention that this guy was kind of a bully. You're a loser, you're a loser, you're definitely a loser. I know. Well, 2 weeks after college started, he was sitting in his dorm alone, eating an apple, when he choked. And he died. Harmless but funny ways to mess with people. The next time you go into an elevator, don't turn around. Just walk to the back wall and stay there. The next time you're having a conversation with somebody, look at their chin the entire time. So anyway, my earlobe was really kind of feeling weird, and then I called the doctor and he told me that, what are you looking at? What is going on? What do you mean? I'm looking at your eyes. Anyway, back to your earlobe. No, you're not, man. You're looking at my chin or something. What's going on? I'm looking at your eyes, idiot. What happened with your earlobe? And then just keep doing that until they get very mad. It'll probably be walk into a butcher shop and do this. Hey, what can I do for you? Yeah, I'm in a bit of a hurry, but can I take 2 pounds of the most human tasting meat that you have? I don't know what you mean. Like a meat you have that tastes close to human? I don't know. Are you fucking with me? You know what? I'll just take pastrami. That'll be fine. And last but not least, the next time you're sitting in a porta potty or a one toilet bathroom and someone knocks, just tell them to come on in. They probably won't, but they'll be super uncomfortable. This woman had been dating this guy for a few months, and the first time she stayed over at his house, she wanted to take a shower in the morning, but she noticed there wasn't any towels in the bathroom.
Steven?
Yo, what's up?
There's no towels in here. Can I have a towel, please?
Oh yeah, sure, 1 second. Here.
Thanks.
She noticed that the towel he gave her was obviously super dirty, and it smelled horribly.
Steven!
Yeah, what's up?
Can I have a clean towel, please? This one's dirty.
What do you mean? No, that's clean.
It's definitely dirty. It's fine, though. Just get me a new towel.
Okay, fine. Here.
Thank you. Dude, this one's dirty, too. Did you wash these?
What are you talking about? You don't need to wash towels. Every time you shower, they clean themselves because they're getting wet. It's like the same thing as a washing machine.
So you never wash your towels?
Never. My mom did the same thing.
What? That is nasty. That is nasty. This is not gonna work. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go shower at my own place.
Okay, have a good day. Smells fine. The worst Christmas gifts ever. This woman says that one Christmas when she was about 25, she went home for the holidays. It was Christmas Day and she was with her entire family opening up presents. Her aunt hands her a gift. And this is for Carla, from me, your aunt. Oh, thank you so much, Aunt Jenny. She opens up the gift and she was surprised to see that it was baby clothes. A lot of baby clothes. The thing is, she wasn't pregnant. She was single. She didn't look like she was pregnant, and she had never talked about having children. So she couldn't understand why her aunt would give her baby clothes. But she just went along with it. Thank you so much. I think they're going to be great. Let me know if they don't fit, and I'll exchange them for the right size. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. The worst Christmas gifts ever. This girl's dad had just gotten remarried to a woman who had 3 kids of her own. And it was the first Christmas they were all spending together. It was her dad, her new stepmom, and her 3 new step-siblings. Well, on Christmas morning, everyone was handed a gift, and the step-siblings opened theirs first. Oh my god, a new laptop. Oh my god, me too, I got a laptop too. Hey, a laptop. Yo, what's up? Now that her 3 step-siblings went, it was her turn to open her gift. And since her gift was shaped the same as theirs, she was assuming she was getting a laptop as well. So she opened it. I'm pretty sure I know what mine is. It wasn't a laptop. Instead, it was a $25 McDonald's gift card that her stepmom put in a laptop-shaped box. I know how much you love McDonald's. Alright everyone, enjoy your new gifts. This stepmom is the worst. So the person that shared this story said that his stepmom has always hated him. When he was younger, she would tell his dad to not bring him on family trips because he wasn't a part of their family. That's weird. Anyway, during the time that his dad was married to this woman, this kid was obsessed with the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Well, on his birthday, he had asked his dad and his stepmom for tickets to the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, as they were going to be in his town in mid-December. Fast forward to November, and he reiterated that he really wanted to see the Trans-Siberian Orchestra in mid-December. Well, the day of the concert came and went. He obviously did not get to go. Fast forward a week or two to Christmas Day. He was opening up a gift from his stepmother. It was an extra large t-shirt that said Trans-Siberian Orchestra on it.
Yeah, I took your dad to see the concert a couple weeks ago. I remembered that you loved this band, so we got you a shirt. Enjoy it.
You are a horrible woman. This mom's plan backfired. One day, this mom overheard her daughter and her friends complaining about one of their teachers. The mom wanted to chime in. Hey girls! I overheard your conversation. I think I have an idea to mess with your teacher a little bit. She explained the plan, and the girls were in. They crushed up a bunch of laxatives, and they put them in cookie dough. They baked a bunch of cookies, put them on a plate, and the daughter left it on her teacher's desk with a note on it that said, "We made these just for you." Carla, you and your mom made these for me? That's so sweet. Yeah, we hope you enjoy them. Well, unfortunately, my doctor said I can't have sugar for the time being, so you know what? I'm gonna give these out to you guys. What? The teacher then passed these cookies out to all of the students in the class. Apparently, there was so much laxative in these cookies that it didn't take long for students to start feeling the effects. Oh God. Oh God. Carla? Let's have a chat. Carla eventually cracked under pressure and spilled the beans, and Carla's mom was sentenced to 50 hours of community service. Did this kid do anything wrong? This happened right before Christmas break. He was sitting in class. His friend was sitting right next to him, and there was a girl sitting behind him. Throughout the class, he started getting whiffs of a fart smell. What in the world? But he ignored it because he assumed it would just probably go away. But then it got to a point where it was happening every 1 to 2 minutes. Oh God. Towards the end of the class, he whispers to his friend, "Yo bro, who the heck keeps farting? It's pissing me off, I can't focus." Dude, I smell it too. Right? Well, the girl sitting behind him heard this, and she immediately started crying. At this point, everyone is staring at them. The girl runs out of the classroom, and the teacher goes out there to see what happens. She told the teacher that she was embarrassed. Long story short, everyone knows she farted and cried about it, and now the dean wants to talk to them when they get back from Christmas break. Do you think he did anything wrong? Let me know. Genius ways kids cheated on a test. This teacher shared this story. On this particular day, they were taking a test in one of this teacher's classes. A kid comes in. He sits by the window. The kid then asks the teacher if he could open the window because it's kind of warm in the room. The teacher says sure. The kid opens the window. She passes out the test. That kid scribbles something down for about 30 minutes and then asks to use the bathroom. The kid then came back, finished the test, and turned it in. So what happened here? Where's the twist? When the kid opened the window, he also opened the screen. After he got his test, he secretly dropped it out of the window. The test fell to the ground where his friend was waiting. His friend was incredibly smart. His friend took the test to the bathroom and filled it out himself. Now the kid back in the room had to make it look like he was working on his test, so he was scribbling nonsense on a piece of notebook paper. When he asked to go to the bathroom, he met up with his friend. His friend gave him the test, he came back to class, and he turned it in. He got an A on that test. The teacher would have had no idea that this happened if it hadn't been for another student who snitched. But I gotta say, that's absolutely genius. Every school has that weird kid, and every weird kid does, well, something weird. The person that shared this specific story with me said that there was a weird kid in one of his classes, and every day he would do this exact same thing. Now this kid was pretty tall, and he was wide. He was a pretty big dude. Well, every single day during this specific class, he would bring in a package of cookies. He would open the package and neatly stack the cookies on the left side of his desk. Then, starting from the top of the cookie stack, he would take one bite out of cookie 1, and place it on the right side of the desk. Then he would take a bite out of the next cookie and place it on top of cookie 1 and repeat until that original tower was on the right side, with each cookie having one bite taken out of it. Once they were all stacked again, he would repeat the process. Well, after about 15 minutes, every single cookie was eaten. He would wipe the crumbs in the floor and just sit there until class was over. The thing is, this school had a very strict no eating in class rule, but no one ever told him anything. His process of eating these cookies was so intricate that no one messed with him just out of respect. And to this day, he still still goes by Cookie Man. Crazy things that happened at school. This person said that during their senior year of high school, someone took a massive dump in one of the girls' bathrooms. And by massive, I mean people said it was inhuman how large this poop was. Well, when the first kids saw this, they were amazed. Oh my god. Well, word spread pretty quickly, and within no time, the entire school was made aware of this behemoth dump, and more than 50 students began skipping class to witness this incredible sight. Literally, they were lining up outside this bathroom, taking pictures with it. Oh my god, that's crazy. One kid was even genius enough to start charging admission to see the poop. Head on in. Hold on, you're next, don't worry. $5? Guys, it's $5 to see the poop. If you don't have it, please get out of the line. It's actually beautiful.
I know.
Mrs. Stevens?
Shh, don't tell the principal.
A plumber was then called and the poop was removed. People still talk about that day, the day someone's monster poop managed to bring a smile to the entire school. To this day, no one knows who laid that poop egg, but needless to say, they're all very grateful to that person. Genius ways people cheated on a test. This dude said that when he was in high school, one of his buddies stole the final exam out of the teacher's desk when she wasn't looking. That day, they took the test home and used the textbook to fill all of the answers in. Since the test was multiple choice, this kid decided to make coded keychains with colored beads on it. The test was 50 questions long, so the keychain had 50 beads on it. A red bead was A, a blue bead was B, yellow was C, and green was D. It would start with the first bead on the top as question 1 and go down from there. He then attached that keychain to his car keys and just left his keys on top of his desk as he took the test. The best part was the teacher complimented that keychain as she was passing the test out. He said, "Thanks, my little sister made it." She thought that was so sweet, but the truth is that kid did not have a little sister. Genius. Genius ways people cheated on tests. In middle school, this dude and his best friend had every single class together. Well, he had a hard time in school, but his best friend was super smart. Well, they came up with a brilliant idea. Yeah, dude, I don't know, I keep failing the tests. I try to study, but it's just so hard. That sucks, dude, I'm getting straight A's. Shut up, dude, I know. Hey, can you tutor me? I don't got time for that, bro, but I have an even better idea. Students were actually allowed to eat during class, especially tests, and most of the tests at the school were multiple choice, A, B, C, or D. Whenever there was a test, his smart friend would bring a bag of M&Ms to class. When the test began, the smart kid would eat an M&M for every single question. Like I said, these tests were mostly multiple choice. Well, if he ate a red M&M, it would mean A. If he ate a yellow, it would mean B. Orange, C, and blue, D. So this kid would just sit back and fill in the answers based on what M&M his friend ate. And this plan worked brilliantly. He started passing all the tests. They were a good team, and the only reason they got caught is because some kids snitched on them. They both got detention, and the school changed the eating in class rule. This kid is an absolute legend. When this kid was growing up, he had somehow grown a tail. Well, by the time he was in 6th grade, he had to get it surgically removed. The surgery was a success, but he had stitches where the tail had to be removed. He was given a doctor's note to bring to class, to let his teachers know that he was supposed to sit on a soft cushion, because stitches. Well, one of his teachers wasn't having it. Hey, no, you can't sit on that unless you have a cushion for everyone in this class. But sir, I have a doctor's note. I don't care. These chairs are way too hard. I have stitches. Listen, you rabbit's foot prick. You're gonna man up and sit down, okay? So what he did was, on purpose, he sat down on that stiff chair as hard as he possibly could. So hard that his stitches tore, and he started bleeding all over the place. Go to the principal's office right now. He was sent to the principal's office. When he got there, he told the principal what happened, and the principal was on his side. However, the worst part about this was the teacher didn't get in trouble at all. The Haunting of Maple Street. As Halloween approached, the neighborhood of Maple Street buzzed with excitement and a hint of fear. For years, children shared stories of the old Jenkins house. Jenkins' house was the creepiest, oldest house on the street that had been abandoned for decades. Mysteriously, the house remained untouched since the day Mrs. Jenkins was found dead inside. Well, on Halloween night, the neighborhood was buzzing with anticipation. Everybody was out trying to get their candy. Well, 3 friends, Jess, Sam, and Lucy, were walking by the old Jenkins house. But to their surprise, there was a flickering, creepy-looking sign on the front yard that said trick or treat. Oh, we shouldn't go up there, you guys. You heard those stories, right? Yeah, something doesn't feel right about this. Oh, shut up. Those stories are fake. I want my candy. Let's go. The door creaked open. It was an older lady standing there. A trick or treat? The old woman slowly turned her head up and said, "Treat? Or trick?" The three kids ran away in complete fright. The sound of laughter echoed the streets. The old Jenkins house came alive once more that Halloween. Those three kids never forgot what happened on that doorstep. Genius ways kids cheated on a test. This person said that at his high school, he had this big Spanish test one day, and him and a few of his other friends in the class did not study for it at all. It was a pretty important test. If they failed the test, they were going to fail that class. So they came up with a genius plan. You see, this small group of students sat in the last row of the class, and there was a supply closet back there. So what they did was they paid the exchange student from Mexico $50. They brought him in the classroom at the beginning of class, gave him a blank copy of the test, and hid him in the supply closet in the back of the room. The foreign exchange student from Mexico would then whisper the answers to the students sitting next to the supply closet in the back row. This guy and his friends got an A+ on that test, and the teacher never found out. 3 businesses kids ran in their school. One, at this person's middle school, there was a kid that sold Dum Dum lollipops. Well, this kid would just carry them around in a shopping bag at school and sell them for $0.25 each. He kept that business going for a pretty long time, and he made like $200. Not bad for a kid. Number 2, this high school made homemade cookies. She would bring them to school and charge people $1 a cookie. Yes, business was booming. People loved these cookies. Apparently, she was a pretty good baker, but the school didn't like this, so they said that she could not sell cookies to people anymore. But these cookies were so dang good that they found a loophole. Students would give her money for no reason, and then she, the next day, would give them cookies for no reason. Feel me? And she kept that business going throughout her entire high school career. And lastly, at this one elementary school, there was a kid that wanted to make a couple extra dollars for ice cream. So one morning, she went into her grandma's bedroom and stole a bunch of her grandma's jewelry. She took that jewelry to school, and during recess that day on the playground, she would sell her grandma's jewelry. Now obviously these kids didn't have a lot of money, so for example, she sold her grandma's engagement ring for 50 cents. Eventually these teachers saw what was going on and put a stop to this immediately. They tried to get back all of this grandma's jewelry. Obviously the grandma wasn't too happy, but that kid had quite the entrepreneurial spirit. Gotta respect the hustle. AI killed his essay writing business, so he started a genius new business. After he realized AI has been causing his essay writing business huge problems for obvious reasons, he decided to start something brand new. It's called Grubby AI. Grubby AI is a tool used to humanize text and bypass AI detectors. You just put your AI content right here, press humanize, and there you go. Grubby AI is guaranteed to bypass AI detection, and to be honest, this might be the only thing of its kind out there right now. It's absolutely genius. The school printer hustle. One of my subscribers sent in this story about a business he ran in school. So when this kid was in 9th grade, his school charged 10 cents per page to print anything from the library computers. Now the library had some of the only printers in the entire school, and nobody carried cash or change on them, so this was a real pain in their ass. And the school system would not take digital payments, so kids were constantly begging teachers to print stuff for them, which the teachers thought was annoying. Well, one day this kid noticed a printer sitting in the corner of one of the unused computer labs, unplugged. It was just sitting there collecting dust. So at the end of the day, he went to that computer lab, grabbed the printer, and tried to get out of the school as fast as he possibly could. He made it. He went home and he had the printer with him. He spent $20 on ink for that specific printer. He then got a big duffel bag and set the printer up in his duffel bag. The next day, he started offering his own printing service. But unlike the school, this kid was gonna take digital payments. Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, Zelle, you name it. He even took lunch trades. He printed it all. Homework, essays, last-minute assignments, nothing was off limits. At first, he just charged 5 cents per page to print. He wanted to undercut the school to get the business, but once word started to spread, it didn't matter. People were willing to pay up to 50 cents per page, just because it was convenient. Some teachers who didn't have printers in their classroom and hated using the library printers started paying him as well to print out worksheets for their class. And bingo! By the end of the semester, he had so much business that he had to bring a second backpack to carry all the printer paper in. This wasn't just a side hustle. This was a full-blown underground print shop. Genius. The craziest things people gave to Goodwill. Welcome to Goodwill, how can I help you? Hi, yes, I want to donate this box of stuff, please. Of course, yeah, we can just, we'll get this all sorted away for you, and then...
Damn, she's quick.
Well, later that day, they were going through the box of stuff she donated. It was mostly normal stuff, but there was one thing in it that was super weird. Yo, what the heck? Steven, come here. Hey, yo, what's up, Sync? Look at this. Yo, dude, this is someone's ashes. It was somebody's ashes. A cremated person. And on the box, it said Gregory. I think that lady gave her dead husband to us. When something like this happens, they call corporate, and they're supposed to send someone to take care of it. Well, no one came, and days passed. They ended up putting Gregory on a shelf in the office. Gregory has become a part of the work family. Whenever there's a new employee, the first thing they do is introduce them to Greg. Whenever something strange happens in the store, they blame it on Greg. He says they all truly love Greg. That's crazy. Awesome ways kids cheated on a test. In high school, this kid was in band. Well, he had a test later in the day that he didn't study for at all. Well, he managed to get a copy of that test from another student who had that same class earlier in the day. So he got a copy of that test. That test was entirely multiple choice. During band class, he Googled all of the answers. And on a piece of empty sheet music, he wrote those answers as notes. A, B, C, and D. When he got to the class where he was having that test, the teacher passed it out and asked everyone to clear off their desks. So he set his sheet music on the ground, facing up, and all he had to do was glance down and look at the notes on the sheet and fill in the answers based on what note it was. That is absolutely genius. This is a crazy McDonald's story. Dwayne Waden was a pastor in North Carolina, and his wife worked at McDonald's. She was training to be a manager. Well, Dwayne received a phone call from his wife one day. She basically called her husband to complain that the employees were disrespecting her as she was training to be a manager. Well, Dwayne wouldn't have this. So the North Carolina pastor got in his car and drove to the McDonald's where his wife worked. He barged inside. His wife pointed to the employee that was disrespecting her, and he charged him. Dwayne punched him in the face, grabbed his head, and tried to shove his head into the deep fryer. The other employees stopped Dwayne from doing this, and they called the police. Dwayne was then arrested, and that poor guy was taken to the hospital. I guess it's safe to say that a pastor became a friar that day. Businesses kids ran in their school. When this kid was in 5th grade, his parents always bought packets of those Mini Bites muffins, which personally I love. But for some reason, these muffins made this kid's throat hurt. But no matter how many times he told his parents, they still continued to buy those muffins. Every day, this kid's parents would put a pack of those muffins in his lunchbox, and every day during lunch, he would throw those muffins away because he did not like them, like I said. Well, one day a kid saw him throwing those away. Hey bro, why are you throwing those away? He said, I don't like them at all. They make my throat hurt, but my parents keep buying them, so I just throw them away. Well, that's when this kid said, dude, those are awesome. Why would you throw them away? I bet you many kids would buy those. And he got an idea. He soon started selling them. He began asking his parents to give him 2 for lunch every day instead of 1. And he gathered a bunch up. His parents had to start buying more boxes of these muffins because they thought their kid loved them. But little did they know, he was gathering a stockpile of these muffins up in his locker so he could sell them to students. And that's exactly what he did. He sold them to students, sometimes for $2 a bag, sometimes for $5 a bag, sometimes, depending on how desperate somebody was, he would sell it for $15 a bag. And he ran this business for a few years. He kept a notebook of how much he made. And from 5th grade until the end of middle school, he made around $3,500. Gotta respect the hustle. Delivery driver's worst experiences. One night, this dude was delivering KFC to a house. He gets there and he knocks on the door. A middle school aged kid then opens the door. He then yells upstairs to his friends. Hey guys, the chicken idiot is here! The chicken idiot is here! That's when about 8 other kids appear at the top of the stairs, and they started throwing coins down to pay for the chicken. Chicken idiot. Can you guys just hand me the money, please? After he asked that, they started throwing the coins harder. Chicken man, stupid chicken man. That's when he snapped. These kids made him so angry that he picked up their bag of chicken and chucked it at their wall. Hey, what the heck? And he left. He told his boss what happened when he got back to the KFC. Those kids' parents later called to complain, but the boss had this guy's back. He simply told those kids' parents to screw off. Epic. This mom is the worst. When this kid was in middle school, his mom one day forced him to give all of his Pokemon cards to his cousins. These weren't just regular Pokemon cards. These were 1999 Pokemon cards with a few first edition holographics. So imagine that today. How much money would that be? A crap ton. Well, 3 weeks after he was forced to give his cousins these cards, he was at their house for a birthday party, and he wanted to check on those cards himself. He went into their room and looked around. That's when he saw a box, and in that box were the Pokemon cards. Torn up, spit on, chewed up. These cards were completely destroyed. He said he never forgave his mom for that. And recently, he has shown his mom how much those cards could have gone for. And needless to say, she knows how bad she messed up. This babysitter is so mad. This person is 20 years old and she's a babysitter. One night, she was babysitting this one family's kids while the parents went out. The mom left money on the counter for them to order pizzas and breadsticks. The pizza and the breadsticks were delivered. They all ate. She had a few slices, and that was that. When the parents came home that night, they asked her how it went. Hi, okay, so how did everything go? I hope they didn't give you too much trouble. Everything went perfect. The kids were well behaved. That pizza place, though, was so good. I've never gotten food from there before. What? When she said that about the pizza, the mom got puzzled. She then asked, why did you eat the kids' dinner? I only had 2 slices and a breadstick. I think that's okay, right? No, not really okay. I didn't expect to have to feed you as well. Don't eat our family's food, please. Okay, have a good night. What? She was so mad because both the kids were fed. There were even leftovers. So why was this such a big deal? Those parents are whack. This kid is crazy. The person that shared this said that there was a kid at their high school who got in trouble for using a keylogger to steal teachers' gradebook logins to change grades. He was also stealing credit card information from all the teachers as well. Well, the school administration eventually found out and he was expelled. What did he do then? He used a throwaway email address to email a revenge PowerPoint to every single student, teacher, and alumni of that school. The PowerPoint had Photoshop pictures of all the teachers and staff doing weird stuff. Well, one of the kids from that school ran into this guy a few years ago, and he actually graduated from Harvard and is a very successful real estate agent. That's crazy. The weirdest compliments people received. This woman was stopped on the street by a stranger. Hey, excuse me. Yeah? I just wanted to say that I love your cheekbones. You look like an elf. Thank you. This person also got a weird compliment. Hey, bro, this is Jack. Hey, what's up, man? Jack, nice to meet you. I'm Carl. Oh, man. What? Let me see that. You have an awesome left ear. Thank you, man. That's really nice of you to say. This girl was on a date. Hi, Steven, right? Stacy, you look different than in your pictures. Well, I hope that's a good thing. Oh, no, it's good. You look like Gollum from Lord of the Rings. But in a cute way. Like a cute Gollum. And last but not least, have you ever been complimented by your dentist? Well, this dude has. Buddy, your oral cavity is amazing to work with. There's so much space in here. Oh, thank you. My favorite comebacks. Hey, Carla, what do you want, Stacy? I saw you getting your nails done last night at the mall with your mom. That's so embarrassing, Carla. At least I have a mom. You take that back right now. How dare you say that to me? Oh, shut up, Stacy. You're so ugly your face makes onions cry. That's the worst joke I ever heard. It's not a joke. Look what you did to Greg's onion. It's okay, buddy. She'll go away soon. I'm so sorry. She's so ugly. This Christmas story is hilarious. The person that shared this said that she is 2 years older than her little sister. Well, when her sister was 5 years old, she had walked up to her Christmas tree a few weeks before Christmas, and she saw a giant wrapped box with her name on it. Look, Carla, this biggest present here is mine. It has my name on it. It's bigger than all of yours. Naturally, she was really mad. What the heck? She was jealous that her sister was going to get the biggest present there. Well, fast forward to Christmas morning, and they were opening up their presents. It was time for her 5-year-old sister to open up that big present that she was so excited about. All right, sweetie, why don't you open that big one right there? In your face. She opened it up in a hurry, but her excitement quickly turned to despair. What is this? It was a lamp. What am I going to do with a lamp?
idiot.
Shut up! I hate my life. Why would you give me a lamp? Black markets kids ran in their schools. So this kid's business started when Prime came out, and everybody wanted to get their hands on some. Well, he was the same. He looked online, he tried to find some to buy, and he was able to get some from a local store for a decent price, so he bought a bunch. One day he came to school with $120 worth of Prime, and students were swarming him. Everyone wanted to buy this product. Business was absolutely booming, and this kid was incredibly hyped. That first day, he sold $220 worth of Prime. That's $100 profit. Business kept like this for a while. He was making decent profit, he was selling a ton of Prime bottles, and students were happy. Well, there was one student whose mom worked for the school, and the student told his mom what this kid was doing, selling Prime and making money. When this kid found out that he was snitched on, he thought he was going to get in trouble, suspended, something like that, but that is not what happened. Instead, the school concession stand started selling Prime as well. Thing is, the school concession stand was open all day long, whereas this kid had to sell his Prime at recess or lunch only. So it was an unfair advantage. So now this kid is in competition with the school, and he's selling his Prime for less. But he's still making profit because he has some exclusive flavors that the school doesn't have. But still, this kid is struggling to keep up because of their unfair advantage of them being open all day long. This story was sent to me almost a year ago, and at the end of it, he asked if anybody had any advice on how he could revive his business and continue to make profit. Well, I'm sorry, my friend, for seeing this so late, but I hope it all worked out. Gotta respect the hustle. This is a true story. This is the third assembly I've had to call for this. I am done. So, let's back up. What was that assembly for? Well, the person that shared this story said that all throughout middle school, all 3 years, there was a kid that would tuck unwrapped Hostess zingers inside of every single toilet paper dispenser in the school, every single day. So every day, whoever was lucky enough to be the first person to use that toilet paper would have an unwrapped Hostess zinger fall into their hands. What the heck? Now, like I said, this was a mystery for 3 years, which now brings us to the assembly. I want to know right now, please, give yourself up. And finally, the kid did. He figured it was time to put this all to rest. It's been me the whole time. At this one middle school, there was this rule, and the rule was called the bubble. The rule was no students in the school were allowed to come within an arm's length of one another in the hallway for any reason. And if kids broke that rule, they would get in trouble. Want to give your friend a high five? Detention. You want to lend your friend a pencil in between classes? Detention. Is your friend having a really bad day and you want to give them a quick hug in the hallway? Extra detention with a possibility of suspension. Give me a break. My favorite comebacks. Hey, Carla, what do you want now, Stacy? No, I'm not gonna be mean, I promise. I heard that you had a crush on Jeremy, and you're gonna ask him to the dance. Yeah, that's true. I'm pretty sure he's gonna say yes, too. That is so exciting, I'm so happy for you. Hold on, I have to make a quick phone call. Hello, is this Jeremy? Yeah, hi, this is Stacy from geometry class. Hey, you wanna go to the dance with me? The one on Friday? Oh. You'll have to let me know? Just let me know as soon as you can. He'll say yes to me. Watch. Fine, take him to the dance, Stacy. Once he figures out how dumb you are, he'll ghost you. I am not dumb. Yeah, you are. You stay after school every day to get tutored. That is such a lie. No, it's not. I stayed late last week for musical auditions and I saw you. I took a video. 7 plus 7 is 17. Oh my god. No. Black markets kids ran in their schools. Another peanut butter and jelly story. So this one high school had a cafe, and the cafe sold peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for $4 each. $4 for a PB&J. That's insane. Well, one student had a great idea, and it's kind of similar to a previous story I told. She bought bread, peanut butter, and jelly, and left it in her locker. And all people had to do was shoot her a text if they wanted a PB&J. They would go to her locker and she would make them one. For only $2 each. Well, the students loved this. It was super convenient and business was absolutely booming. Well, the school shut her down pretty quick. They said that she was taking away business from somebody that needed the money more. What? This kid's a legend. So at this one high school, there was one kid that somehow managed to bring a whole rotisserie chicken to lunch every single day. Now, I'm not talking about some lunchbox-sized meal, oh no. I'm talking about a full-sized grocery store rotisserie chicken. And he wouldn't sit down and eat it with a fork and a knife. He would eat it like an absolute caveman. He would crack his knuckles and just start going to town, tearing that chicken apart with his bare hands. You know, at first people ignored it because they thought maybe this was just a one-time thing, but then he kept doing it every single day. Well, I guess this was an issue for some people because then the school took notice and teachers tried to stop him, but technically he wasn't breaking any rules. There wasn't a no eating a whole chicken at lunch rule in the handbook because, like, you know, it got to a point where the principal literally begged this kid to stop doing it because it was making everybody uncomfortable. The kid just looked at him in the eye, took a bite of his chicken and said, "What are you gonna do? Suspend me for eating lunch?" And honestly, respect. Black markets kids ran in their schools, a follower submission. When this dude was in 6th grade, he started selling snacks. Candy, cookies, chips, Takis, everything. He would bring bags of them to school and sell out almost every single day. Eventually, he hired 7th and 8th graders to sell to their grades. He was making $400 a week, but he got money hungry. He had an idea to make some extra cash. So during lunch, he would host Beyblade battles, and people went crazy for it. He charged an entry fee, and people started battling and betting their stuff. Until one day, a teacher used the bathroom. He walked in on a group of kids betting and battling Beyblades. That kid was then suspended, and his businesses were shut down. For his grandpa's birthday, this kid wanted to do something special. He wanted to give his grandpa a custom phone case, covered with photos of all 9 cousins. So 6 weeks before his grandpa's birthday, he texts all the cousins. "So send me a recent picture of yourself so I can include you. Thanks." 2 weeks go by, no response. He reminds them again, but this time he adds a warning. "If you don't send one, I'm putting a picture of my dog on there instead." Well, 3 cousins reply with, "Just grab one off my Instagram." Well, he doesn't. The day before the deadline, he sends out one last text. "You have 24 hours or it's the dog." And they still don't say anything. So when Grandpa's party comes and he unwraps the gift, there it is. 9 photos of this dude's dog. "Oh, this is fantastic." He loved it. And these pictures of his grandson's dog, they were awesome. One picture was a dog in a sombrero. The next one, he was wearing a chicken costume. There was one of the dog in a pumpkin patch. Just these really fun, awesome pictures. Well, the cousins are embarrassed, and the cousins' parents are furious. They're like, "You did this on purpose. You are petty." But Grandpa, he thinks it's hilarious. Best phone case I've ever had. And that's awesome. This high school made a huge mistake. All of the boys' bathrooms at this one high school were shut down by the school because somebody was stealing toilet paper. So they closed down the bathrooms until the person who was stealing toilet paper turned themselves in. Well, that's not fair to the other students. For about a week, the boys' bathrooms were closed, and the boys were getting very upset by it. How can they lock the bathrooms? What if I had to poop? I have to poop right now. I've been holding it in every single day. Boys, I have an idea. After lunch, at exactly 1:15 p.m., stand on your desks and take a dump right there. Spread the word. The second the clock hit 1:15, this is what happened. A total of 25 dudes pooped on their desks in the middle of class. The school actually got into huge trouble for denying people bathroom privileges, and the poop incident went down in history. This kid ran a super weird business at his school. So, in middle school, this kid noticed something weird at lunch. Kids would come back to the table with their lunch trays, but a lot of them wouldn't touch their carton of milk. And they always had milk because the school forced them to take it, even if they didn't want it. And that's where he got his idea. He started collecting these untouched milk cartons every day from his friends. After lunch, he would stash them in his locker. They were still cold. Then, during the last period, when the sports teams had their practices, you would take the milk to the gym and try to sell them for $1 a piece. Now, I don't know what he was thinking because who in their right mind would drink milk or chocolate milk during a sports practice? And as you can imagine, business wasn't really booming at all. Although there were some super weird kids that did buy this milk from him. He tried doing this business for a couple months, but one day there was an awful smell coming from his locker. The janitor opened it and found upwards of 60 cartons of milk in there, rotting. The principal obviously shut him down and he was suspended. You gotta respect the hustle, I guess. Hey bro, so I think I'm gonna ask Stacy to the dance. Bro, good for you, dude. You deserve it. But you might want to act quick because, look, no, they call me Mr. Suave. No, I'm kidding. But I am suave though. I'm super suave. Let's just say I lift about, 110 on a good day. You know what? I'm going up there. Hey Stacy, Oh, hey Kyle, what are you doing? What are you doing here, loser? Stacy, quick question. Are you inflatable? No, why? Oh, did you hear that, Chad? She's not your type. I only bought one of those dolls and it was a joke. Yeah, right. You're just saying that in front of Stacy because you hate me. Oh, no. I'm not saying I hate you. What I'm saying is, if you were dying, I would unplug your life support to charge my phone. Stacy, you, me, dance Friday? What do you say? I will see you there. Bye, Stacy. When this kid was 10 years old, he was at the grocery store with his mom. He was messing around in the candy aisle when he decided to steal some gum. He thought to himself, I'm a criminal mastermind. When him and his mom got to the checkout, his mom paid for everything except the pack of gum in her son's pocket. As soon as they walked outside, he pulled out the gum and started chewing it. His mom turned around. Where did you get that? Well, instead of admitting he stole it, he panicked and he said, That man gave it to me and he told me to get in his car. That man? The man was standing by the front of the store. The mom turned around and stormed to the store's entrance. She saw one of the store's employees. Excuse me, this man right here gave my son candy and told him to get in his car. What? Him? Wait, what? Wait, no, I didn't. We need to call security now. You stay there. What? I didn't do anything. Within minutes, store employees are calling the police. This man was in hot water, but he didn't do anything wrong. The kid just stood there watching, chewing his gum. Hands behind your back. I said hands behind your back. When this kid was in middle school, he would make these things all the time. They were called paper wasps. These folded pieces of paper you put in a rubber band and you shoot them at people. Well, this kid would occasionally sneak up on his friends and attack them with his paper wasps. And yes, they hurt very bad. But nobody ever got back at him because for some reason, his paper wasps were far superior than anybody else's. So this kid got an idea. He started making tons and tons of paper wasps. His secret in making his paper wasps was using the right amount of paper. And after it was done and folded, he would staple the tip. The staple was used solely to increase pain on impact. Well, business was absolutely booming. The kid was pretty much an arms dealer at his school. Eventually, because of his business, full-blown battles were happening throughout the school day every single day. He was eventually shut down, but in total, he made over $400. Interesting facts about lucid dreams. Lucid dreaming is when you are in a dream and you know that you're in a dream. You can control it and do whatever you want, like literally. I taught myself how to do it when I was younger and it is awesome. Did you know that time moves slower when you were in a dream? One person apparently lived a lifetime in a lucid dream. She said it felt like she was in there for 100 years. And she wasn't stuck, she said. She said it was epic, but it only actually happened over the course of a night. When you lucid dream, you can create a world, cities, houses, and even people that you can revisit every time you're back in that dream. It's like you have two lives, your waking life and your dream life. Dream characters are people that your subconscious puts in your dream. So say you're 100% lucid, you know you're dreaming, and you walk around a city. If you ask a question to somebody walking around, their answer is actually your subconscious talking to you. Have you ever had a lucid dream? People that lucid dream basically never sleep, because sometimes lucid dreams can feel just as real as actual waking life. Picture this, you had an incredibly long day, you go to sleep, but you wake up in your dream. Except you know you are dreaming, and you can do whatever you want. It's your own personal world. You can fly to anywhere you like, make anything appear in front of you, not to mention that you can actually practice for things in real life in your dream. If you don't know how to lucid dream, you should. And this app will teach you everything you need to know. Go to the App Store and search YoroX. I promise it works. When this kid was in 6th grade, he asked his teachers if he could get paid to clean up gum from under desks and chairs. They said sure. So he was getting paid $5 every time he cleaned up gum. Well, the principal found out about this and asked him if he could clean up the gum from under the tables in the lunchroom. He said sure. It was a nice little side hustle, but then he had a brilliant idea. He was gonna start selling gum. So he started buying these packs. This one's only $5 from Target. It's 8 packs with 15 pieces of gum in each pack. That's 120 pieces of gum, and he sold each piece of gum for 50 cents. He was making $60 after selling one whole thing of gum. But here's the kicker. Every time he sold somebody a piece of gum, he asked them when they were done with the gum if they could put it underneath desks or the lunchroom tables. So he would have to clean up the gum more often and make even more money.
ফোন দিয়ে যেতেছি ফোনই ধরো না, তোমার ফোন ধরার কোনো নামই নাই, কোনো কথা, তোমার ফোন ধরো না কেন?
এবারে এক্সামের প্রিপারেশন কিরকম তোদের? আমি তো খুবই এক্সাইটেড, কারণ আমার প্রিপারেশন খুবই ভালো।
This
জিসান দরজা খোল।
সুন্দর মতো যাবি, ভাবির নামটা জিজ্ঞাবি। আর শোন, ভালো মতো কথা কবে, ভাবি লাগে। খালি ফাপড় আর চাপাবাজি, ফাপড় আর চাপাবাজি, এই বাদে আর কিছু পাচ্ছস?
বুকিং?
বুকিং মানে বুকিং, তুমি আমার আমি তোমার, বুকিং দিয়ে দিছি, ফাইনাল।
আমাকে বুকিং দিছে মানে আমাকে কে বুকিং দিছে দোস্ত?
তোর যে আশিক আছে না, এখন তো আমার পিছনে লাগছে।
এই এই দুলাভাই সামনে থাকলে যে সালাম দিতে হয়, আপনি শিখাই নাই তোরা? কেমন আছো তুমি?
ভালো।
আমাকে জিজ্ঞেস করবো না, রক্তটা দিবি তুই?
আমি কেন রক্ত দেবো? প্রেম খরচ তুই, রক্ত।
আমার বন্ধু জিসান আপনাকে অনেক ভালোবাসে ভাবি, আপনার ওর রক্ত যাওয়াটা বিধে হতে দিবেন না ভাবি।
তাই তো বলি, কেন ফোন যায় না? না, তোমার নাম্বারটা তাড়াতাড়ি করে বলো।
ঘন্টার পর তো গার্লফ্রেন্ডের লেগে ওয়েট করতে পারো, আর বন্ধুর লেগে 2 মিনিট ওয়েট করতে পারবা না?
ও এখন আমার দোস্ত, তাইলে তো বন্ধু রিত লেগে গেল।
আরে বেটা, এত লাফাইস না, যেরকম শুনতেছি পরীর মতো এরকম করলে তো বেটা।
বাদ দে, কালকে 4টা দেখা হবে।
ঠিক আছে মামা,
ঠিক আছে মামা।
ঠিক মতো যা।
হালা পারলাম না রে।
তোর তো হাওয়াটাই হয়ে গেল। তুলি, তুই তো সুন্দর নাম। আচ্ছা শুন, আমি জিসান, আই লাভ ইউ।
আপনাদের তো চিনলাম না। আমার বড় বোনের যে দেবরগুলো আছেন তো সবাইকেই চিনি, বাট আপনাদেরকে তো চিনি না।
যাইতে দে, আর আমার খালা লাগে। কোথায় বলটা? ভালোবাসা যে এত প্যারা, এত কষ্ট, এত জ্বালা যন্ত্রণা, জানলে ভালোই বাসতাম। জিসান আর তুলির ভালোবাসার ইতিহাস, তাই রক্ত লাগবে।
আসসালামু আলাইকুম দুলা ভাই।
আরে শালা, ওয়ালাইকুম আসসালাম। কি খবর, কেমন আছো? বান্ধবীও তো যায় না, এতবার ফোন দিলাম, ফোনও ধরতেছে না। তুমি একটা ফোন দাও তো, ফোন বের করো।
কি বলেন দুলা ভাই, ও যায় নাই? কথা হইছে, ভাইয়া বলছে যে ভাইয়া আমাদের কোচিং এর সামনে আর আসবে না, আর তোকে ডিস্টার্বও করবে না।
জানো না
কারণ না, আমি 1 থেকে 3 গুনবো না বাবা। প্রেম হইলেই হবে, প্রেম হইলে এমনি ডিস্টেন্স হবে বাবা, আমার খালি ওরে দরকার।
তুমি বাসে আসার পর থেকে আমাকে বাসে শান্তি সব চলে লাগেছে।
আয় হায়, খাইছে কুচোটা কি তুমি?
তুমি একটা ভিডিও কল করে পাঠাও প্লিজ, প্লিজ। কবে আমগো দেখা
কোচিনটা কি এটা আবার লগে এমন চিপা মাইটা দিয়েছেন?
কেমন খানদান বউ?
তারপর তো ভয় কাচে মুচু খায়া গেছে গা, তারপর আবার দুর্নাম করতে হইব।
এই তোর কি তোর দামি ফোন?
আইসা বাপ জান, রাইতে ঠিকঠাক মতো ঘুমাইছে তো নাকি বাসায় গিয়া আব্বা জান রে কইবেন?
কি করছো যে এটা তুই বাজার রে বাজার যাও চুইছে আজকাই করছে
সম্মান সব পাঞ্চার করে দিছে।
মাগার দোষ আমারও আছে, আমি একটু বেশি বাড়াবাড়ি করে ফেলছি। চলো না আমরা বাড়িতে ফিরে যাই।
তুমি কি পাগল হয়ে গেছো নি? এইটাই আমার বাড়ি এখনতে।
চলো
চৌধুরী সাহেবের সাথে আমি কি কথা কইছি? তুমি কোনো কথাই কই নাই কে? সাজান তোমারে কইলো এত
দিচ্ছেন, হ্যাঁ দিচ্ছেন না? এলা বাইরন, আমার বাড়িতে বাইরন।
একবারে হাসা করছেন আব্বাজান। আপনার পোলার এই বাড়ি থাকা কোনো বিতলামি করলে আমি তোরা ঘাড়াই, কিন্তু ভাবলাম আপনি তো একমাত্র পোলা, ঘাড়াইলে আবার দিলে চোট পাই।
তুমি
শোনো, তোমাগো খানদানে যেমন কিছু নিয়ম আছে, আমাগো খানদানেও আছে।
এইসব ফাত্রা নিয়ম কেউ যেন জানবার না পারে, মনে থাকবো তো? তোর যে নতুন বাবি